and explain, how the technology works, etc. And then, once I'm done, if anyone would like to share their testimonial, that would be that'd be appreciated. Okay. Back in 2017, I'll just give my quick testimonial. 2017, my wife started getting a lot of excruciating pain in her joints. Her joints were swelling, and what started happening was, she couldn't even turn doorknobs. She started dropping plates. She couldn't even take off the cap of a bottle of water, and it just kept getting worse and worse. And she, the pain was getting worse. She was in pain day and night, and it just it kept escalating. Her joints were swelling. It got to the point where she couldn't drive anymore, and she was actually bedridden. The only way she could get out of bed was if I lifted her, by her lower back, without touching her shoulders or her arms or anything. And I'd have to dress her and help her to the couch, basically. And I was cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I was doing all the housework. And in the meantime, I'm researching, trying to find out, how to help my wife, overcome, this pain and swollen joints that she was stricken with. The doctor gave her some drugs, or a drug, and it was not effective. It didn't do anything. And what happened on July 14, we had the X39 was sent to us, and we didn't know what to expect. All we knew was they were stem cell patches, or they activated stem cells. And the moment I put this patch in my wife's hand, she felt, a change in her body. And it was really incredible, because within 25 days from July 14, and then 25 days later, she went from being in excruciating pain day and night to from having swollen joints, and just really, not having a life. And, she had given up hope. And 25 days later, she's got her life back, and she's, her pains had gone from a 10 to a 2. And, I had my wife back too. Another thing is, her heart rate was really high. And that was a concern that her doctor had. And her doctor had her, this was about 2-3 weeks before we got the X39 patches. And the doctor had her wear a Holter monitor for 72 hours to measure her heart rate, and just to see, what it was, and 24 hours a day. And the results is that after the 72 hours, they found her heart rate had gone up as high as 179 at some point, at different times of the day. It was averaging, around 110. So her heart rate was very fast. Within 1 week of using the X39 patches, I tested her heart rate, and it was averaging around 69 to 70. And ever since then, her heart rate's been great. Her doctor actually took her off one of the drugs, which was for a blood thinner, and the other one gave her a lower dose. And for the pain, actually the doctor took her completely off the pain that she was given, or I should say the pain medication that she was given for her joint pain and swelling. I don't want to mention, what any diseases, but it was very serious, and I think you can imagine, what it was. The other thing is, ever since then, we've seen many benefits over the next, I guess it's been 7 months or more now, and because this was back July 14 that we started. And we've seen so many benefits. Our skin's improving, hair's improving. My hair is getting darker. My wife's hair is getting darker as well. She normally dyes her roots, or she's concerned about dyeing her roots because they come in gray, but now they're coming in a little darker. So that's really exciting. And her eyesight's improving. I've noticed the same thing. And a lot of little things are happening over every month, and we're seeing, just ongoing improvements. She's one of the things that happened with me, by the way, is several years ago I had cracked my kneecap right up the middle, and it's been painful for me to use a treadmill or use an elliptical machine, which affected my being able to stay in shape, without pain. And after using the X39, I didn't notice any change, and I was still in pain for about 3 weeks. But by my 4th week, all of a sudden my knee was healed, and I haven't had any pain since. And that's now it's been over 7 months or so. So it's really incredible what we're seeing, and with people, just literally thousands of people around the world, since this product was released to the public on January 20. At our launch meeting in Muncie, Austria. Just going to have a little sip of water. So I'd like to share with you a little bit what this X39 patch does. This is the packaging for the X39, and this is the patch. And this is the patch that my wife wore, 3 fingers, just 3 fingers widths below the belly button. And she put this on every night, and she wore it overnight, and then she'd take it off early afternoon. She took it off at 2 p.m. every afternoon. And this patch for myself, instead of putting it below the belly button and wearing it at nighttime, the reason my wife did that is because at night, her joint pain, and in the morning, her joint pain was when it was at its worst. For myself, what I have done is I like to wear this I put it on in the morning, and I take it off at nighttime. And I put this on, originally I was putting it behind my neck, but now I just put it below my belly button now as well. So it doesn't matter where you put it, because wherever you put this patch, it's going to do the same thing. And this patch uses phototherapy technology. Every cell in our body, actually every living thing emits light, photons. But every cell in our body emits photons, and which basically it's invisible to the naked eye, but our bodies emit infrared light. And you could see that if you used night vision goggles, military night vision goggles. That's how they can see people at nighttime, because the bodies are emitting infrared light, and that's how our cells communicate at the speed of light. So all of our cells communicate with every cell adjacent to it, and it really is incredible what can happen. So just through the use of this patch, since our body emits infrared light, these patches are designed, you take the backing off of this patch, and inside the patch is nanocrystal technology. And really, we're not marketing a patch, we're marketing a technology. And this is a technology that was developed in 2002 for the military, by the way. And it was never released in the military, but it was then, luckily for us, this was released through direct sales and network marketing back in 2004. And this technology is phototherapy technology, and this is patented. That's why I wanted to get at. This is a patented technology. It took over 10 years for this patent, for the phototherapy patent, which actually has 11 claims. And because it's such a new and unique technology, that took over 10 years, for the patent to be approved. So this is exclusive worldwide. There's no other company with this phototherapy patch technology. And over the last 15 years almost, there's been over 80 clinical studies, and you can actually refer to those on the lifewave.com site. If you click on products, scroll down to science, you can look at all the research studies and papers and patents, and A lot of great information there. So when our body emits the infrared light, like I said, that's invisible to the eye, but it simply reflects against the patch, which is like a sort of like a nano antenna, you could say. So the light goes through the crystals and it's reflected back at a different wavelength. So it's a very specific wavelength that then instructs your body to elevate a particular, whatever the patch is designed to elevate. In the case of the X39, this patch took over 5 years to develop and $5 million. And working with David Schmidt, the inventor and the founder and CEO of LifeWave, working with the National University of Ireland in Galway in their stem cell research center. Yeah, it's one of the world leading stem cell research centers in the world. So this patch was developed over 5 years, and what it was developed to do was to elevate the a specific polypeptide in your body called GHK. So it's GHK-CU, if you want to Google it, GHK-CU. If you put that in Google, the first thing that's going to come up is a Wikipedia page. And that Wikipedia page will explain how this polypeptide, GHK-CU, let's refer to it as just GHK. It's a copper peptide. And this was discovered back in 1973 by Laurent Picard, who's a PhD, and he's made it his life's mission, his life's work to research this peptide, because what he's discovered is the holy grail of regeneration. And there's, with all this, the studies that have been done over 45 years on this peptide, and they've discovered just miraculous benefits in what it does and the effect that this has on the body. The main thing that we talk about is the fact that this peptide activates stem cells, but it does a lot more. But when you wear this patch, it simply elevates this GHK copper peptide that will activate stem cells, and it's a natural, which actually when you're a child, you have a lot of this in your body, and that as you age, it keeps decreasing. So it's important to keep this peptide elevated, because our bodies are designed, for really to regenerate, to renew. But as we age, when this peptide keeps decreasing, we don't heal as fast, we scar more, and the healing is often incomplete. So by simply elevating this peptide, the body it triggers, it activates stem cells. It also will increase the potency or the growth factor in your own stem cells. So it makes your own stem cells even more potent. That's really important, because one of the other things that this does, the GHK, one of the things that they discovered in the universities that studied this, is that this peptide will actually reset over 6,000 genes. So it has an effect on over 6,000 genes in the body. It's over 30%, I believe it's 32% of the genes. It can help to renew. So on some of these genes, it's going to express the genes. It's going to make them more activate them, and other genes is going to suppress them, because what happens as we age, some genes get suppressed, some get expressed, but that can be very negative. So this really renews the genes and puts them back at a younger state, basically, in simpler terms. One of the other things about this peptide, and this is, like I said, the holy grail of regeneration, because another thing that it does, so I talked about It activates stem cells. It increases the growth factor in the stem cells. It will, reset your genes. It also helps to renew your body's own stem cells. So by renewing your body's own stem cells, that's even, a better solution than, there's companies out there in North America and around the world, there's clinics that will take your own stem cells out of your body, out of your fat or your blood, and they'll take those stem cells out and they treat them, and then they re-inject them into your body. The only thing is, what they're re-injecting into your body are your own aged stem cells. So the beauty of this copper peptide is that it will renew your stem cells. So it's going to reset them at a younger state. And that's really important, because why just take out your old stem cells that are aged and re-inject them back in your body when you can actually renew your stem cells, make them more potent, activate them. And also another thing, why get stem cell injections when you have a huge resource of stem cells in your body? Because this GHK polypeptide, or I should say peptide, it's a GHK copper peptide. What it does is they've found that it will convert your body's skin stem cells, the stem cells for your skin, it'll convert those into stem cells that can be used for healing any organ of the body. As we age, our stem cells decrease. And by the time, we have an abundance of stem cells when we're a child, but by the time we're 65, our stem cells have decreased. You only have typically about 10% of the stem cells of when you were a child. However, by activating and by elevating this GHK in your body, what happens is now you can tap into this resource of stem cells from the largest organ in your body, which is your skin, and it can tap into that resource of your skin stem cells and convert them into stem cells for use in any part of your body. And stem cells can be used, they will naturally, heal your brain, they'll heal joints, they'll heal, internal organs, obviously, they'll heal skin as well. And, many people out there, get, stem cell injections, for the aesthetic benefit, for the skin. But why use an invasive, technology that also has some risk when you can, simply, use the LifeWave technology, this wearable technology, put a patch on, and have the benefit of activated stem cells that are more potent, tap into that resource of stem cells, and do this on a daily basis, and even renew the stem cells as well. So we really have something here that's a much better technology than stem cell injections. And stem cell injections, are not necessarily 100% proven technology. Now there's many clinics around the world and in North America that are operating, but the stem cell treatments are actually not approved, by the FDA or in Canada, Health Canada, for treatment. They have clinical, there are clinics that are operating, and this is kind of a little bit of a gray area. Well, at least I can tell you one thing. I read this one article, and this lady, and this is out of Forbes magazine, and this lady is a researcher with stem cells, and the title was, I work with stem cells every day. This is why I won't be injecting myself anytime soon. And that's because no matter, what, the kind of results that a lot of people are reporting about all the benefits of stem cell injections, regardless of that, there's still a risk. And what she's saying is that long term, we don't know what the impact is going to be with a lot of these stem cell injections that are being done. There's, in North America, what these clinics are doing is they're, taking, people's own stem cells out of their blood or fat, treating those stem cells, and they've done, and then re-injecting them. And there's been some studies on that have found that some of these stem cells that they're taking out of people and re-injecting, they're re-injecting dead stem cells back into the body sometimes. Some of them are not kept alive, or after going through this treatment, they're not as potent. And another thing is, a friend of mine, this young lady, she had stem cell injections, her own stem cells taken out and treated, re-injected, and after they were re-injected, she ended up getting inflammation in the brain, and she's had health issues, regarding that ever since. So, another article I read was a lady that had stem cell injections and she went blind. These things do happen. So why take any risk right now? The stem cell industry is huge. I know the EU, they've committed to spending between now and 2027, $120 billion over the next, right up until 2027. That's just the EU. I mean, these studies are being done all around the world. Yet, what's interesting here is that we're still very, very new. As far as perfecting the stem cell treatments out there, and that's why these are not being done in hospitals today. It definitely is the future of health and healing. But also, our technology with LifeWave, being a non-invasive way to elevate your own stem cells, make them more potent, and offering people natural healing in their own body. This, to me, is my preferable way of getting the stem cell, getting the benefits of stem cells. Why use an invasive treatment that that potentially long term may or may not be beneficial. So the one thing is this copper peptide, by the way. This was that was discovered by Lauren Picard, PhD, in 1973. The reason it's called GHK copper peptide is that it's the only peptide that has an affinity to copper that's literally millions of times greater than any other peptide. So the magic here, and what really powers this peptide, is the copper. A lot of people are copper deficient. People that are taking zinc supplements often become copper deficient because zinc is an antagonist to copper. And so if people are taking zinc supplements, often their body's not going to be absorbing copper. And so it's important to have the right ratio of copper and zinc in your body. And so the copper is very important. So it's very important to eat copper-rich foods, and it's going to help, as you elevate the copper peptide, what's going to happen, you also need to elevate the copper peptide and the copper in your diet.